So let's say you'd like to filter a small amount of a temperature sensitive liquid. I'll show you just briefly how to set up a syringe to do so. First of all, we use this syringe head attachment here. What you do is open it up, and then you can place your filter right over this portion of the syringe head. And again, for filtering out all bacteria, you'll need a filter with a 0.2 micron pore size. That'll both allow you to filter out bacteria from whatever liquid you're trying to sterilize, and also you can collect those bacteria on the filter afterwards. So after you put your filter on here, screw the head back on, take your syringe, draw up some liquid, attach it to the head, and push down to filter out. Now, let's say you wanted to filter a large amount of liquid. Doing it with this 20 ml syringe is going to be really slow. So I'll show you how to set up a larger kind of vacuum filtration experiment. And so here I've got my filtration set up here. This is where the filter is going to go. So I've got my microfiber filters here. I'm not going to use these to filter out bacteria, so the pore size is not quite 0.2 microns. But I'll do, take one out very slowly here. So here I've got a filter, and I'm going to place it right there, right over. So it's kind of hard to see without it falling off, but you want to get it right in this area of the setup, and then this will attach magnetically to the top. As you can see here, it's sealed around the edge of that filter. So then, see if I can get a good picture of it here. Yeah, there we go. So this is what we're going to use for vacuum filtration. So I'll put this setup on the top of here, and then attach the air compressor to our collecting flask. And that's a couple common filtration setups you might see in the lab. So back to our vacuum filtration setup, you'll see here that this liquid has this precipitate here in the bottom of that, and we don't want that. We want to filter it out so it ends up looking clear like what's in our collection flask here. So the way we do that, turn on this air compressor, and then take the liquid and pour it into that same, the top of the filtration system that we'd set up before with the filter in the bottom. So then the air compressor will draw the liquid up here through the filter and then into the collection flask. And as you can see, the stuff in the collection flask is nice and clear with none of that precipitate in there. So just an example of filtering something that would take a long time to do with a syringe because, again, it's a much greater quantity of liquid.
So in our lab, we use this hood for experiments that require kind of a high degree of sterility, such as, for example, inoculating cultures. You don't want any sort of contamination. And question is, how do you sterilize all the surfaces inside here? One of the ways you can do that is it's actually got a UV light option. So if you turn this on, the UV light comes on to sterilize all surfaces inside here. So here's a brief overview of what using an autoclave is like. Here I've got some media as well as some pipette tips ready to autoclave. If it was just the pipette tips, we could use a dry cycle, but since we've got media, we need to use a bit of a longer cycle, the wet cycle. And something else you'll notice is that there's this tape on top of all my media as well as on the pipette tips. And look a little closer, you can see there are kind of these bars on the tape. So after this is autoclaved, these bars are going to turn a dark gray color. And that is an indication that these things have been autoclaved. So, got these ready. Now it's time to turn on the autoclave. You see it's turning on, and it gives the status here. So again, as I mentioned, we need to use the liquid cycle here. We're going to use a 30-minute liquid cycle. You can see here, the liquid cycle is 30 minutes. And then we load our stuff into the water.